let's just cut the formalities, shall we? We have a big problem, which you're about to see in approximately 3 seconds. Let's check the R&D screen. Yep. This championship is officially over. Ferrari are now going to reign supreme in the 2019 Formula 1 season. Like, what is that growth from Bahrain to China? That's like 2 ultimate upgrades and maybe even a major upgrade on top of that. Ferrari, GG, thank you for coming. You've splashed all the dosh and now the season is yours. Welcome, guys, to another episode of F1 2019 Career Mode. This is the Chinese Grand Prix, and Ferrari quite honestly licking their lips with what seems to be like their 2020 chassis that they have brought to this race. We head off for practice, and I think they're sandbagging a lot because they weren't that dominant. But we were pretty pacey, so that was okay. We're going to move into qualifying now, and we're going to see the damage that Ferrari are going to deal upon us as we enter this race weekend. Wish me luck.
Welcome to Shanghai, China, for what I've no doubt is going to be a fantastic F1 qualifying session.
Track is pretty empty right now. Lots of space.
There's set to be some rain, maybe towards the end of qualifying. It was about 45 minutes to an hour after Quali started, I think. From memory, you can see there's some clouds about, so there might be some rain, but for the foreseeable future, we have dry conditions, so we'll be able to see what the true pace of the car is like. A lot of you guys noticed the finishing positions of the last 2 races. It was either we qualified either on pole and then we get 11th, or we qualify 11th and finish first. So let's see if we can buck that trend today. I'm pretty certain we will do that. We get through qualifying 1. Oh, we qualified 11th. Oh my god. We're not going to buck that trend anytime soon. But as we head into qualifying 2, the rain has already hit us. And it's looking likely that maybe that trend will continue if we could possibly get pole position in the rain. You guys probably know by this stage that it's very easy to contest with the AI. They seem to lose a lot of pace when the weather makes an appearance. So our chances of qualifying well today have drastically gone up in this Chinese Grand Prix. Vettel currently on provisional pole. On the wet tyres, I feel like the track was maybe already too dry for wets, so I was just overheating the rears, so that wasn't really a good run for us, but thankfully it was easing up as the session went on, and now we can go out on a set of intermediate tyres to really see where we can place this Renault on the grid today. So yeah, the time that we did was like 3 seconds off of pole position, but now everyone is switching to the inters here at the death, and now this is going to be really just a 1-lap shootout to see what we can do. We're 7 tenths up as we go through the first sector, so already massive amounts of inroads made towards pole position. Of course, everyone else will be improving as well, as the track is going to be infinitely faster than what it was on full wet tyres. But through to the middle sector, I've run out a little bit wide here. I've gone for a low downforce setup. It's actually pretty much a carbon copy of what I ran in Bahrain. So we'll see. You know, a Bahrain setup and a China setup are pretty much identical, at least I've found in the past. So we're running with what we know to some degree. Anyway, 3 seconds up now as we go through the middle sector. Purple again to sector 2. Thankfully, we have enough time to actually do another lap. We managed to cross the start-finish line with a minute 50-odd seconds to go. So as long as this lap is good, which is looking like it is, we will get a second lap in here, provided that the battery will remain charged up, which we're going to completely drain most of it here on this back straight. It's absolutely falling now. It needs to be above like 50%. You can wear out about 50% of your battery on a full-on flying lap, but through to the hairpin. Not the best rotation through there. I was being a little bit conservative, just trying to bank what we have at the moment. We still have another lap to do, so we can push even further on that one through the final corner, and we're going to be up by 6 seconds as we cross the line. It is provisional pole position at the moment, but everyone else is still out there on a time lap. This lap in particular, not as good for us. So we bring it back to the pit lane, and surprisingly, no one else was able to beat us. So it is pole position, for the Chinese Grand Prix. So the 11-1, 1-11 finishing and qualifying positions trend that we've had in Season 2 continues into this race. So by that logic, we are destined to finish in 11th place in this Grand Prix, but I'm going to do everything in my power to prevent that from happening. Surprisingly, the Ferraris not really showing this potential that they've shown with the upgrades. They should be like on pole by like a second over everyone else. I'd be very intrigued to know what specifically they upgraded, but unfortunately we don't have that information available to us, so we'll see in the race just how dominant they are. For me, I'm just looking to hold on and grab as many points as possible.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let's start with the new Alfa Romeo driver. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
You've done well to put it on pole, but we've still got work to do. Trying to cover the inside line off the start.
I completely echo Jeff's remarks there, and the mentality heading into this race. We got pole, yes, that was nice, but I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, given how strong Ferrari look with their upgrades at the moment. Like I said, we'll be looking to hold on, maybe to a podium if we're lucky, top 5. No, if we're lucky, podium, but more realistically, I would like a top 5 today. So we'll see how it goes. Unfortunately, Q2 was wet, so everyone has the choice to pick the optimal strategy. So we can't win the race or anything like that on optimal strategy. We have to do this with natural car pace, which I'm not too sure about this season. But 5 red lights and away we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. Did my best to minimize the wheel spin, but still it wasn't enough versus Ferrari, and Vettel takes the lead heading into turn 1 here at China. Raikkonen getting close on the outside. Hamilton came out wide as well, so it was just a very, very close call there between a number of drivers there on the run into turn 1, and we managed to avoid what would have been quite a catastrophic accident, and we hold on to P4. Leclerc already looking racy on this opening lap of the Chinese Grand Prix heading into turn 1, not turn 1, turn 4. You could... No, you can't forgive me for mistaking that for turn 1 because, yeah, it looks nothing like it. But anyway, we are holding on just about to the lead group of cars. Vettel looking like he's doing his traditional pole or, opening start to the race where he tries to break away as much as he can. Raikkonen closed the gap quite a bit on the back straight, so interesting to see that maybe Ferrari haven't upgraded the engine. I'm really just trying to suss out where they're actually fast, to be honest. Could it be, it's not engine power, we already know that now. Is it downforce? They're not exactly flying away in the early stages of this race. So maybe it's something a little less obvious. It could be tyre wear, it could be ERS upgrades. I'd say brakes, but Charles Leclerc didn't really dive bomb me there either. So it's really puzzling to see what it is about this Ferrari that's so amazing, because at the moment it doesn't. It's not obvious what's amazing about this Ferrari, because we were able to keep Leclerc behind for a good 2 laps there. So and Vettel isn't really checking out as much as I thought he would. So I'm just confused more than anything. But here goes Hamilton up the inside of Raikkonen. He now takes P2, or does he? Side by side into the last corner, and I think Raikkonen will hold on. Hamilton has to hold his nerve at the moment, and now Vettel is starting to etch away now in this Grand Prix. It'll be interesting to see if Leclerc can get into the fight as well. He's already got himself ahead of Lewis Hamilton. We've got a yellow flag behind us. I think a Mercedes is potentially out, and that leaves Valtteri Bottas being that driver who is now out of the race, an engine failure for him. So that is very, very unfortunate. Could we see our first safety car yet? I'm going to bet the house on that not being the case, given my luck with the safety car in career mode on this game. I literally could, at this point, get to the end of my whole career mode journey and still not see the safety car. It's quite outrageous at this point. But anyway, Hamilton and Raikkonen still fighting away quite hard for now the final spot on the podium, as Leclerc has now got himself up in a second place. So the Ferrari 1-2 is well and truly on today. So that'll be an interesting championship that unfolds between those two drivers. But another one that looks pretty tasty as well is the Devon Butler and Benjamin Daly battle. This one continues after the Season 2 escapades we had, and he goes up the inside into the hairpin. Let's see if we can hold it around the outside. We did upgrade the engine in the last race, so it'll be quite hard for the Red Bull to really do anything against us. So he holds it around the outside. We've got much better straight line speed than a Red Bull. We've set up the car for low downforce as well, and you can just see evidently on the start finish straight. I think Devon even had DRS, but we still soared around the outside through the opening straight of the lap, and that's the big tank slapper we had. A nice little battle that ensued as well, by the way, and thankfully we managed to hold position in this Chinese Grand Prix. So at the moment, pace is, it's not terrible, it's just not the same pace as the leaders.
Only one stop to go, one stop left in this strategy. Your pit window opens next lap.
But for some reason, I seem to be struggling with, I think, tyre wear, or maybe tyre temperatures, as Carlos Sainz is out of the Grand Prix. I just feel like the car is understeering so much. Turn 1, I'm particularly bad. I think the front left might be overheating. Is it because of the lockups I'm getting? Am I turning too much through these long high-speed corners? I think what it could be is the fact that I'm possibly running a Bahrain setup at China. Maybe there's something into the suspension settings that are too stiff. Maybe the front end needed to be a bit softer in order to roll through the corners a bit nicer. Because at the moment the car is just not responding in the way that I would want it to. But in the pit stop phases, we, oh my god, just about rejoined in front of Devon Butler. If that was real life, that would have been a dangerous re-entry. But we are fine. I also went for a increase in front downforce for this incoming set of tyres, just to help the front end of the car just rotate a bit more. We are struggling for front tyre temperatures, and hopefully if the car naturally turns nicer, I won't turn the wheel as much, and maybe that'll help. But we'll see. I really am struggling with the front end, and hopefully on the hard compound tyres, they're a bit more versatile and a bit more strong up against, you know, harsh temperatures, and they have a better operating window. We'll see. But Verstappen is now attacking us here on the back straight. Verstappen had a lot better straight line speed than what Devon Butler did, so maybe he's gone for a low downforce setup as opposed to his teammate. But again, the tyre temps aren't looking too good. They're over 100 degrees. Just the long right-handers are really punishing the front left as Verstappen again goes up the inside into the hairpin. 9 laps left to go in this race, by the way, and we're holding on for the most part. Sergio Perez rejoined just a couple of seconds ahead of us, and now he's stretching away in that Williams. So that was a place lost there. But yeah, the battle is on now to maintain P6 over the 2 Red Bulls. I believe my teammate is also getting involved, only a couple of places behind. This is the battle up front for Vettel and Leclerc. They're only like 10 or 12 seconds ahead, so we're not too far away, but we just don't have the consistency that those guys do. Again, Hamilton and Raikkonen fighting away for the final spot on the podium, but for us, it is, yeah, a best of the rest kind of scenario at this stage. It's unfortunate that the longevity hasn't been good for us. Verstappen up the inside into turns 1 and 2 gives us a bit of a shunt for our troubles, and I'm going to have a lazy kind of exit there, squeezing him out and holding on to P6. Verstappen again on the back straight in the slipstream. DRS. Looks like Butler wants to get involved as well, so it could be 3 wide on the 1 and 2. The hairpin. We have the inside, thankfully. Lucas Weber has got the best seat in the house watching all of this unfold. If anything happens between any of us, Lucas is through for P6 in this race as Devon Butler now takes the initiative at Red Bull and gets in front of his teammate and now is in a golden position to have a go at us. Tyre wear is fine. Like, it's only 20 or 30%. So we'll easily make it to the end of this Grand Prix. It's just the tyre temperatures we're struggling with, which is really holding us back in terms of pace. A couple of good laps there, a few personal bests, but now this hasn't been a lap that is as good, and now we find ourselves under attack from a Red Bull once again. Here goes Devon around the outside. Not too worried about him, to be honest. He'll take the position, nearly run into the back of him as well. so that is nice. But the straight line speed in this car is amazing, and you're going to see it on this next start finish straight. Let's see if we can actually get back at him with the help of DRS. It is quite crazy how fast we are with the way that we've set up the car and the upgrades that we've targeted. We come back at Devin Butler straight away into turn 1. He's holding around the outside. He has a much better chassis than us, but it isn't enough to hold it around the outside in a dying lap. So the Chinese Grand Prix, when the track is quite frankly quite bad out there on the marbles. So he drops in behind us once again. Ricardo again ranging up onto the back of this battle. So hopefully he can pick up a few more points than what he's got at the moment. Butler up the inside on the penultimate lap of this race. We've got better drive traction around the outside. Of course, the better engine that we have in the back of our car certainly helps as well. And we're just able to defend this position with ease somewhat. You know, we were struggling in Melbourne. We targeted some engine upgrades. We've made the package a little bit better. We've lowered the downforce. And so when it comes to defending position, it's come much more naturally. And if not for those upgrades, we might not have even got points today. It might have been that drastic. But we certainly do need to head back to the drawing board before we head to Baku and try and figure out how we can look after the tyres a bit better. But it's P6, 8 points. Not a bad weekend.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
This could be a trend that we see for the rest of the season. Just depends on what the other guys do. So that is our first little glimpses as to what is possible in Season 2 with the AI's upgrades. I wonder if, you know, Ferrari or some other teams have done some, those upgrades that make development pieces cheaper. I wonder if Ferrari have done a few of those, and like whether they've done quality control as well. If they have, the AI teams are set up very well for Season 2, but I hope that is not the case, because we actually haven't done any upgrades to quality control or to making just the raw upgrades cheaper. We're just going for upgrades when we can afford them and getting them on as soon as we can. That's the strategy that I've gone for. But yeah, we'll see how this season goes. We do have some pretty tasty engine upgrades heading our way for the next race in Azerbaijan, as well as upgrades that we could potentially do at the end of this episode as well. So we need to up our development and get back into the grind that we had some way into last season, how we were doing all the practice programs. I've already started to do that again, and yeah, just trying to keep pace with the AI as much as I can. But yeah, it was a interesting weekend, one that I felt like it was probably the result we deserved, to be honest. We weren't the fastest car by a mile, but we weren't slow either. So I felt like, yeah, we pretty much fit into, yeah, our natural pace. But anyway, front downforce upgrade going on the car, going to help the car be a bit more of a weapon through the corners. I certainly felt slow through the middle sector and all the long medium speed corners around China, especially up against those Red Bulls. They really made me feel slow, but I feel like a few little setup changes, and I feel like that would probably make all the difference. So heading into Azerbaijan, if all these upgrades can go on the car, look out, because we may already have something that can challenge Ferrari. But however, there are still like 9 other teams on the F1 grid, and we don't know what their upgrade path is looking like and how many resource points they have as well. So we'll play it by ear and see just what happens. The development race is going to be absolutely crazy in Season 2, and I can't wait to see how this season unfolds. But that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you need to see plenty more racing game content. We're off to Azerbaijan next, and for many reasons, there are lots of things to look forward to in that one. Until then, guys, I'll see you next time.